The prison was quiet that night, the kind of quiet that pressed on your chest and made every breath feel heavy. Bryson had just finished his meditation when the alarms screamed to life, red lights flaring across the corridors. He felt it instantly through the force, a pulse of death, sharp and unrelenting, moving toward a single cell. A young Jedi, barely 18, cowered behind the bars, lightsaber still in its dormant hilt. He was trapped. The man approaching was a mercenary the Order had placed to eliminate threats, a cold-blooded killer sent to silence potential Force-sensitive prisoners before they could rise. Bryson's fists clenched. He didn't hesitate. He ignited his white saber. Its pure light cut through the crimson glow of the alarms, reflecting off the steel walls. The mercenary saw him and charged, blades ignited, the force flowing in brutal anticipation. Bryson met him mid-corridor, blocking, twisting, and deflecting strikes that could have killed a dozen untrained men. The clang of sabers echoed like thunder. Sparks flew as the two collided again and again, Bryson moving with precision honed over years of survival, training, and blood. The young Jedi screamed from his cell. Bryson glanced, the attacker was reckless, focused on striking him down before seeing the boy. With a pivot and a surge of the force, Bryson disarmed the man, slamming him into the wall with a bone-shaking impact. The mercenary snarled, drawing a hidden blade, lunging toward the cell again. Bryson's eyes narrowed. Time slowed. Every heartbeat, every breath, every movement counted. With a swift flick of his saber and a force-assisted shove, the attacker's chest opened to the glowing white blade. He fell to the floor silently. Bryson turned to the young Jedi, breathing hard, hands shaking from exertion but steady in purpose. "It's over," Bryson said, his voice low, calm, yet carrying the weight of violence restrained. "You're safe now." The boy looked at him with wide eyes, awe and fear mingled. I thought I was going to die." Bryson deactivated his saber, letting the hum fade into the oppressive silence of the prison. Even here, surrounded by walls that suppressed the force, he knew one thing: surviving the Order's judgment wasn't enough. Protecting life, even within these walls, defined him. And in that moment, Bryson realized, the darkness he had once carried could be a shield for others, if he wielded it wisely. The sun dipped low over Bryson's village, painting the fields in gold and fire. The villagers worked quietly, tending to crops and livestock, unaware that danger was approaching. From the horizon, the first shapes appeared, cloaked figures on speeders, weapons glinting in the dying light. Raiders, drawn by tales of the village's prosperity and the legend of a Jedi who had once led it. Silver was the first to see them. Clanker beeped urgently, rolling at his feet. Silver's golden cloak fluttered as he ignited his saber, its light bright against the darkening sky. The raiders landed on the outskirts, shouting threats and demanding surrender. Villagers scattered, screaming, children crying. But Silver stepped forward, calm and unyielding, every ounce of his years of training ready. "Back," he roared, voice carrying across the field. "This village stands under my protection." The raiders attacked, blaster fire streaking the air. Silver moved with uncanny speed, deflecting bolts with precise saber swings, flipping and rolling through the chaos. Clanker whirred alongside him, blocking attacks and tripping raiders with mechanical arms and well-timed shocks. Two raiders lunged at the center of the village, aiming for the villagers' storehouses. Silver met them mid-air, slicing with perfect timing. The first fell, disarmed, screaming, while the second collided with Clanker's metal frame, knocked unconscious by a sudden discharge. The rest of the gang faltered, unsure how to handle a single Jedi moving like a storm. Silver used the Force to send a wave of dust and debris, blinding them and throwing their formation into chaos. By the time Bryson's villagers began to regroup, the raiders were beaten back, fleeing into the forest. Smoke and dust rose around Silver as he deactivated his saber, breathing heavily. A child peeked out from behind a cart, eyes wide. "Master, did you do all that?" Silver knelt, placing a hand on the boy's shoulder. The Force protects those who cannot protect themselves, he said softly. But remember, courage is what makes a home safe, not just power. As the last raider vanished into the distance, Silver looked toward the horizon, toward the stars where Brycen was imprisoned. A silent vow passed through him: I will keep this village safe. And one day, I will get you back. The village stood in quiet triumph, but beneath the calm, the weight of the larger war loomed. The village was quiet again, but the tension lingered like smoke. Silver moved through the streets, teaching villagers basic defensive techniques, how to recognize danger, and how to use simple tools as weapons. His golden cloak swayed in the wind, lightsaber clipped but always within reach. Clanker zipped from rooftop to rooftop, installing traps and alarm systems, his mechanical beeps echoing across the village. Children peeked from windows, trying to imitate Silver's movements, and he allowed it, discipline tempered with patience. You must be ready for anything, Silver said, demonstrating a force-assisted leap to block a falling log. Even when you're afraid, you can protect yourselves. The villagers practiced, slowly gaining confidence. Each swing, each parry, each step strengthened their courage. Silver watched, proud, yet his mind drifted toward Brycen. Prison was silent, cold, and cruel, and he had no way to help directly. But the Force told him Brycen was still alive, still planning, still fighting from within. Deep beneath Coruscant, Brycen crouched in the shadows of his cell, memorizing every detail Varnies had shared. He traced patrol routes in his mind, felt the vibrations of guards' footsteps through the suppressor floors, and tested the limits of the Force dampeners. He moved silently between corners, avoiding sensors, listening to distant conversations, and noting weaknesses in the security protocols. Each day, he grew bolder. Each day, the spark of rebellion within him swelled. Varnies appeared occasionally in the shadows, whispering advice: remember, boss, survival isn't just about strength. It's about timing. Watch, wait, and when the right moment comes, strike. Brycen nodded, every word sinking deep. The white saber he carried was more than a weapon, it was a promise to himself, a reminder of the man he had become, not the boy the Order wanted him to be. As night fell over both worlds, Silver looked out over the village from the highest rooftop. Lights flickered in the cottages below. He tightened his grip on the saber's hilt, thinking of Brycen's courage, knowing his friend was enduring worse trials than any raider attack. Far below the Jedi prison, Brycen's eyes glinted in the darkness, scheming, patient. Both men, separated by space but connected by loyalty and the Force, prepared for the moment when the galaxy's chains could be shattered. The calm of night hid their tension, but soon, the storm would return, and this time, neither would face it alone. The twin suns of the frontier dipped low, casting long shadows across the village fields. Ethan's starfighter touched down lightly on the outskirts, stirring up dust and the faint scent of crops and soil. He had followed the subtle ripples in the Force, a presence strong, but hidden, something not entirely right. As he stepped from the ship, the scene before him made him pause. Silver stood in the center of the village square, golden cloak fluttering, lightsaber ignited in a soft defensive hum. Villagers of all ages moved around him, learning, striking, falling, and rising again under his careful guidance. Clanker zipped above, disarming makeshift traps and tripping the more reckless children. Ethan watched silently, his eyes narrowing. The way Silver moved, confident, deadly, almost too precise, felt like a warning, not a lesson. Every swing, every force-assisted motion radiated power, and Ethan's instincts prickled with unease. Silver glanced toward the edge of the village, sensing a presence. "Good evening," he called warmly, though his tone carried the edge of caution. "You're welcome to watch, but stay back. The Force is strong here, and accidents happen fast." Ethan's jaw tightened. He stepped closer, studying Silver. "I sensed chaos," he said quietly. "The training, the Force, you've been doing something here. What are you hiding?" Silver's eyes flicked to him, unreadable. "I train these people to defend themselves," he said evenly. Nothing more. Nothing less. They deserve protection, and I intend to give it. Ethan's gaze swept over the villagers. He saw the awe in their eyes, the respect, and yet he couldn't shake the thought that someone with such raw power, moving like a predator, could tip the balance of the force, and perhaps not for the right reasons. Be careful, Ethan warned, voice low. Power like that, it attracts attention. And it can corrupt if left unchecked. Silver only nodded slightly, focusing back on the nearest villager struggling with a heavy wooden training staff. Clanker beeped, signaling a minor misstep, and Silver corrected it with gentle precision. Ethan remained at the edge of the village, silently observing, unsure if he should intervene, or trust the man he had once considered a comrade. The force hummed with tension, and for the first time, Ethan wondered whether his instincts about the outer rim were correct, that darkness had found a foothold, even here, in Bryson's home. The Jedi prison was silent as always, but beneath that calm lurked a storm. Without warning, alarms blared and red emergency lights flooded the corridors. The suppressor fields flickered, then died. The guards froze in confusion, blades half raised. From the shadows emerged a Sith warlord, a massive figure in black and crimson armor, lightsaber crackling with raw energy. Behind him, prisoners of all ranks surged forward, released from their cells as the doors snapped open under his command. Bryson's eyes narrowed. He crouched low, sensing the chaos through the force. The corridors vibrated with tension and fear. His white saber, safely stored across his back, hummed faintly with anticipation. Varnies appeared from the shadows, his yellow eyes gleaming. The time has come, boss. Take what is yours. Bryson moved swiftly, igniting his white saber and cutting through the chaos with lethal precision. Guards lunged at him, but he moved like a ghost, parrying strikes, deflecting bolts, and weaving through the corridors toward his old saber, the red crystal he had once carried during his Sith days, hidden in a maintenance locker. He reached it and pulled it free, holding it up. Its glow illuminated his determined face. The white and red blade side by side, a symbol of the man he was, and the man he had been. With the prisoners rallying behind him and the warlord clearing the path, Bryson ran to the hangar. Starfighters and shuttles lay scattered, abandoned by guards. He picked one, sleek, fast, capable, and overrode the locks with a combination of force-assisted precision and knowledge gleaned from Varnies. The engines roared to life, and he pushed the throttle. Behind him, the prison erupted in chaos, alarms screaming and blaster fire lighting up the sky. Bryson shot forward, breaking through the outer hangar doors, leaving the Jedi prison and the Council's wrath behind him. As he soared into the void, the stars stretching into streaks around him, Bryson allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. The prison was behind him, freedom ahead. His destination, home, his farm, his village, and the people he had fought so long to protect. And though the galaxy was still filled with shadows, Bryson Voss, armed with both his past and present, would face them on his own terms. The void stretched endlessly before Bryson, stars whipping past as his stolen starfighter cut through the outer rim. The engines roared, but the Force whispered warnings, patrols, hidden traps, and remnants of the Order scouring the sectors. Every jump was a gamble, every blink of light a potential ambush. Hours passed in tense silence until a faint shimmer appeared on his sensors, a small craft moving with uncanny precision. Bryson tensed, hand brushing the hilt of his dual sabers. The ship closed in, and a calm, steady voice echoed through the calm. Bryson Voss, it said. You're far from home, and you're far from safe. He froze. The voice, it carried authority, wisdom, and an unshakable calm. I am who I am, Bryson replied cautiously. And you are. A tall figure emerged from the cockpit, robes flowing, eyes calm yet piercing, Luke Skywalker. Someone who can help you get home. I've been tracking your path through the outer rim. The Council would see you dead before you reach your people. But I can guide you safely. Bryson's heart, already heavy from years of imprisonment, leapt with cautious relief. Why help me? Luke's gaze softened. Because you fight for something greater than revenge. You fight for life, for hope. That is worth protecting. With a nod, Brycen followed Luke's lead. Together, they navigated asteroid fields, evaded order patrols, and slipped past sectors crawling with bounty hunters and dark force echoes. The journey was tense, every misstep could end in death, but Brycen moved with the precision of a survivor, guided by Luke's calm presence. Finally, the familiar lights of Brycen's village appeared on the horizon. Fields stretched green and gold, the homes and walls standing as monuments to perseverance. Silver was there, watching over the village, unaware of the sky-born visitor guiding their friend home. Luke landed the small craft near the edge of the village. "You'll need to be careful," he said, voice low. "The order may still come looking, but here you'll be strong." Brycen's eyes glimmered with a mixture of gratitude and determination. "Thank you. I won't let them hurt this place." Luke placed a firm hand on his shoulder. "Remember, Brycen, the Force is with you, as long as you trust it." As Luke departed into the stars, Brycen descended into the village, sabers at his side, heart pounding. Freedom, at last, felt within reach, but he knew the shadows were not gone, only waiting. The village was quiet at dusk, the warm glow of lanterns reflecting off the fields and cottages. Silver stood near the center, overseeing the last of the training drills, when a streak of movement in the sky caught his eye. Brycen's starfighter descended, engines humming low, cutting through the twilight. Villagers stopped, their chatter fading into astonished silence. Brycen landed with a practiced grace, the dual sabers at his side. He deactivated the ship's engines and stepped onto the soil of his home, feeling it beneath his boots for the first time in years. The smell of earth, crops, and home brought a weight of relief to his chest. Silver's eyes widened, and he ran forward, his golden cloak flowing behind him. "Brycen," he shouted, almost tripping over Clanker in his haste. Brycen smiled faintly, exhaustion and emotion etched into his face. "I'm back," he said simply, letting the weight of the words sink into the air. Villagers emerged slowly, eyes wide, whispers spreading like wildfire. Farmers, children, even the elders, all were drawn to the man who had once defended them, returned from the clutches of the Jedi prison and the galaxy's chaos. Silver clasped Brycen's shoulder, voice trembling. "I thought I'd lost you, again." Brycen shook his head. "Never. They couldn't keep me. Not forever. And I came back for all of you, for this place." The villagers cheered, a ripple of joy and relief washing over the square. Some ran forward to embrace him, others bowed, tears streaking their faces. Even Clanker beeped in excitement, rolling around Brycen's boots. Brycen looked around, the pride and responsibility of the village pressing on him. His white saber glimmered in the dusk light, a symbol of who he had become, tempered by hardship, yet unbroken. Silver stepped aside, letting Brycen absorb the moment. "There's more work to do," he said gently. "But tonight you belong here. With us." Brycen nodded, feeling the pulse of life around him, the warmth of home, the trust of his people, and the strength of the Force flowing through him again. As night settled, he stood with Silver at the village center, looking toward the horizon. The stars shimmered above, and for the first time in years, Brycen Voss felt at peace. The fight was far from over, but his home was safe, for now. The village was alive with renewed energy, torches flickering in the twilight, villagers moving between workshops and fields. Brycen walked through the streets, hands calloused, eyes sharp, already planning. Tables were stacked with metal scraps, cores from old starships, and pieces of abandoned weapons he had scavenged. He had made a decision: if the Jedi Order came for him again, his people would be ready. Small blasters were reforged, spears tempered with alloys, and traps were designed throughout the village. Every child, every farmer, every blacksmith would have a role, and a weapon to defend their home. Silver watched, quietly supervising, letting Brycen lead. "You're turning this into a fortress," he said, voice tight with concern. Bryson's eyes scanned the horizon. If the order comes, we won't just run. We fight. This village is my home, and I won't let them take it, not after everything. A shadow moved on the ridge outside the village, and Silver stiffened. Ethan's figure emerged from the trees, cloak flowing, saber hilt at his side. His expression was tense, wary, and unyielding. "Bryson," Ethan said, voice low but firm. "I sensed you here. I came to see for myself. And I need answers." Bryson didn't flinch. "Then see for yourself. Look around. This is what I've built while you were following rules. We survive, we fight if we must." Ethan's gaze shifted over the workshops, the villagers training, the weapons being forged. His eyes narrowed. "Weapons?" he asked, disbelief mingled with anger. "Bryson, the Jedi Order will see this as rebellion. You're arming yourself against the Order." Bryson stepped closer, white and red sabers at his sides, standing tall despite the weight of their judgment. "I'm arming my people to survive. If they come, we fight, but I won't kneel, Ethan. Not for anyone." Silver stepped forward, speaking carefully. "Ethan, this isn't what you think. It's defense, not aggression. Bryson has a plan, and the village will be safe." Ethan's face hardened. "Plans don't matter if they get us all killed." The tension crackled like static through the force. The villagers paused, watching silently as the three men, friends and allies, yet divided, stared across the square. Bryson's voice was calm, but carried authority. "If you truly trust me, Ethan, you'll stay. You'll help, or at least let us protect these people." Ethan hesitated, conflicted, the force thrumming around him with warnings and potential paths. "I'll stay," he said finally, though his tone lacked certainty. Bryson nodded, turning back to the workshops. "Good. Then let's make sure we're ready. The Order won't wait forever, and neither will our enemies." The village had transformed. Barricades of reinforced durasteel lined the entrances, blaster turrets hidden among haystacks and rooftops, and traps camouflaged in fields and along narrow alleys. Villagers moved like shadows, practicing evasive maneuvers, wielding weapons with newfound confidence. Bryson's white and red sabers gleamed at his side as he oversaw the final preparations. Silver checked the perimeter one last time, Clanker whirring and scanning for weaknesses. "They'll be here soon," he muttered. Bryson nodded, voice calm but firm. "Good. Let them come. We've waited too long to run." The first blip appeared on the horizon, a squad of Jedi sent to apprehend him. Ethan stood beside Bryson, lightsaber at the ready, eyes scanning the approaching figures. His doubts and fears were balanced by determination to protect the village. As the Order's ships descended, Bryson raised a hand, and the villagers took their positions. Blasters fired from concealed towers, traps snapped shut, and smoke grenades erupted across the field. Chaos unfolded in the outskirts, the force crackling in every movement. The Jedi advanced cautiously, but Bryson's tactics were precise. Every strike he made was calculated to protect, not kill unnecessarily. Villagers blocked paths, forcing attackers into kill zones. Silver moved like a whirlwind, deflecting blaster bolts and guiding inexperienced fighters. Clanker zipped overhead, using mechanical arms and electrical discharges to disable droids and stun intruders. Bryson leapt into the fray, his white saber parrying green blades, red saber igniting in instinctive defense. Each movement was a dance of precision and fury, years of survival, prison, and rebellion distilled into lethal grace. One Jedi broke through to the central square, moving toward the villagers. Bryson met him head-on, saber crossing with deadly precision. Sparks flew, and the clash echoed across the village. "Back off!" Bryson shouted, voice booming. "They are under my protection." The Order faltered, realizing that this village, once defenseless, was now a fortress of courage and skill. Bryson, Silver, and Ethan fought in synchrony, covering every path, every street, every open space. By the time the first wave of Jedi retreated, bruised and weary, the village remained standing. Smoke and dust hung in the air, but the people cheered. Brycen lowered his sabers, scanning the horizon for more threats. "This is only the beginning," he said quietly, eyes hard but filled with purpose. "They'll return. And next time, we'll be ready." The sun rose slowly over the village, casting golden light over the fields, barricades, and workshops. Brycen walked through the perimeter, checking defenses, but today's battle would be different. Today, he let Ethan and Silver lead the training. Ethan moved among the villagers, calm and encouraging. Children, teens, and even the older farmers gathered around him, their movements hesitant at first. He demonstrated basic lightsaber forms, defensive stances, and force-assisted maneuvers, keeping his tone gentle but firm. "Feel the force flowing through you," Ethan instructed a young boy holding a makeshift training staff. "Don't fight it. Let it guide your balance, your strikes, your awareness. Confidence comes from knowing you can protect, not from fear." Silver moved through the other side of the village, his golden cloak brushing the ground, his saber ignited for demonstration only. He taught villagers how to react to ambushes, use terrain to their advantage, and improvise with whatever tools they had. Clanker zipped overhead, occasionally dropping nets or disarming traps, giving the villagers real-time practice against surprise attacks. Children laughed as they dodged mechanical arms and stumbling blaster dummies, gaining courage with each success. Ethan watched Silver from the edge of the training field, admiration mixed with caution. "You've changed," he said softly. "You've tempered your power with patience. The villagers need that balance." Silver glanced at him, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "They need to survive, Ethan. And survival isn't just fighting. It's strategy, patience, knowing when to strike and when to defend." Hours passed, sweat and dust coating the villagers, but their confidence grew. Each movement became sharper, each strike more precise. They were no longer just farmers and villagers, they were warriors in the making. By evening, Ethan stood with Silver on a hill overlooking the village, arms crossed, watching the sun sink below the horizon. "They're ready," he said, voice low but firm. "Not just to defend themselves, but to protect each other. That's what matters." Silver nodded, eyes scanning the fields where the villagers practiced. "And when the order returns, they'll be ready. And so will we." The force hummed in the twilight, a promise of strength, unity, and the looming storm they all knew was coming.